Good morning and welcome to the Q2 2023 earnings call for Regency Petroleum Limited. I'm Jermaine, CEO and founder of Learn Grow Invest, and it's my pleasure to be the moderator for this earnings call. So I'd like to welcome at this time CEO for RPL, Andrew Williams. Good
Hi,
morning,
Jermaine.
Andrew.
Morning. Thanks for having me again. And morning to all our shareholders and audience. We can start with a word of prayer. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, as we come to you this morning once more for another earnings call, we thank you once more, Father, for your blessings and your mercies upon us. We ask now that you continue to guide this company with your hands. We put and surrender all to you, O Father. We ask that you just intervene in our operations, intervene in our lives, personally and otherwise. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, we can move on right ahead. Welcome once more to our earnings call Q2 2023. And it's a pleasure to be back once more. All right, we move straight ahead into general remarks. And as we can see, we have experienced a 389% increase in our total LPG sold for the period. We can go further into that later on, but as expected, we expected that increase. This exceeded our target, which is very good for the company, and very good indications. We also had 51% increase in our overall volumes. Overall volumes meaning automotive fuels, LPG, overall volumes together, compounded. We have our construction of our two new service stations remains our main focus. However, when I say two service stations, the last time we spoke, we had Paradise and Negril on hand. Now we took on a third. So Paradise is now open. I'm happy to report that. Paradise has been open since August 4th, last Friday. And sales so far has exceeded daily our expectations, our targets. So that's a good indication also. With regards to our social responsibilities, which we pride ourselves in, we always talk about that. We always put that as a priority in our operations. We did a 200,000 donation to the burn unit at UHII at the University Hospital. And we also did a donation to the Brotherhood of St. Andrew. That's the men's arm of the Anglican Church in Jamaica. So it's a similar group to the Mothers Union, but it's the men's arm. So we did a donation to that also, along with our usual obligations of donations that we do weekly and monthly to churches and schools. Specifically for churches, we donate cooking gas for the shut-in to a number of churches. And for schools, we assist when called upon. Our priority for schools are basic schools, well, any schools really, but on basic schools and also with regards to technology. So we place emphasis on that when it comes on to our schools. And when we are called upon, we always try to meet whatever is demanded of us. Now, with our strategic initiatives, service station for Kingston first quarter 2024 is our target. We always try to exceed our targets, but I think this target of 2024 first quarter is a reasonable one when we consider what our experiences over previous two that we have been under construction with. The partnership with Just Gas was we had a launch a few weeks ago with awarding Just Gas, a Jamaican company, with a franchise agreement for them to supply the corporate area, Kingston, St. Andrew, Port Market, St. Catherine, bulk petroleum. So when we say bulk petroleum, and this is specific to bulk LPG, bulk cooking gas, this is for their supply under the Regency arm in the corporate area to hotels, restaurants, bakeries, any heavy user, any bulk user of LPG. So we are now put a footprint into Kingston and the corporate area via LPG bulk. We have different segments that we hope and wish to enter Kingston shortly. We have the gas station coming up soon, and we also intend to enter with the retail cooking gas, which is the small cylinders, 25 pound, 30 pound, 100 pound. So that's on the table, so we can speak further about that. And our current focus is to whatever we have started. We have a number of things on the table. We have 2 service stations, 1 just completed, 2 under construction. We want to complete these 2 service stations before we consider or to move forward with other service stations or any new programs or initiatives right now. So we want whatever we start, we want to have it completed and have it in operation so we can see the results of these initiatives. All right. So that's remarks for now, and I'll introduce you to my CFO, Jerry Grant. He will go ahead with the financials.
Good morning to our shareholders and all our viewers. This quarter, we are seeing some mixed results. However, the company is healthy and mixed results between quarters are expected. First, let's look at some highlights. The volume of motor vehicles sold is down 7%. Total sales remain flat. EPS, that's earning per shares, was impacted by low profit for this quarter. However, significant improvement was seen in the LPG segment, where sales volume was increased by almost 4-fold. This has resulted in the company achieving overall increase of 51% in sales volume over the quarter. Let's turn to the other slide. A review of the income statement is showing that sales remain the same as at 179 million as in 2022. This was impacted by a 24% reduction in the purchase price of fuel. In addition, one of our major customers closed business for refurbishing during the period. This has, as I said before, it has resulted in a reduction of 7% in the motor vehicle fuel segment. All these negative were cancelled out by a 389% increase in the liters of LPG sold. So even though we have some down in one area, it was compensated by a significant increase in the other segment. Okay. Gross. No, let's. I think I have. Could you go back to the other slide, please? Speaking about the profits. Okay, all right. Let's look at gross profit for the period. It's down 20%. So gross profit has decreased, which is mainly due to increased trucking and handling costs. We expect to see a reversal in the third quarter, as even without the opening of the Paradise gas station, the motor vehicle fuel sold should be back to normal. Operating profit were impacted by the increase, as we mentioned before in previous earnings call, of our administrative expenses since being listed. Plus the cost of the bond that was issued. This bond was issued on June 30th. The proceeds of the bond will be used for the construction of the gas station in the Kingston area on Spanish Town Road. The bond will be disbursed in 2 tranches. The first tranche we have received in July, that is after the quarter. And the second tranche should be received close to at the end of September. You can now turn to the other slide. The profit before tax reduction does not signify that we are doing poorly, by the way. It only reflected that we are incurring costs right now that will be used to generate future revenue. Right? The balance sheet will show some of these investments. The cash balances is showing 578%, so it's a healthy cash balance. The proceeds of the bond has not yet been reflected in this figure that you are seeing right here, so it is even more impressive. Property, plant, and equipment show a significant improvement, 158%. And as we say, we are investing in the construction of gas station. So it's reflected in our fixed asset, significant improvement. Our accounts receivables, well, that was increased by 177% over the quarter. 83.5 million of the figure we are seeing here is due to, it should be received from the proceeds of the bond. Long-term borrowings, that our long-term debt increase, and that also is because of the bond issue. Payables decrease, 50% decrease. We continue our effort to keep payables as low as possible. We can turn to the other slide. Okay, earning per shares, the share capital that we explained before is due to the IPO, which will become listed in December. And earning per shares still showing significant growth. So it's showing that the company over the period we have been operating, we have been retaining profit, and it's consistently growing. So that is good. Okay, this slide is showing a detail of our asset base. We have spent 105 million since December to date on the construction of the gas station. So that's a significant improvement in our asset base right there. We can turn to the other slide. Okay, I will now turn over to our CEO, Andrew Williams.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. All right. So, with regards to our outlook, company's outlook, again, I'm happy to report that we have opened the Paradise for sales since last Friday, August 4, and sales so far, as I stated earlier, we are exceeding our targets. It has been increasing. As a matter of fact, before we actually opened, based on the traffic that was at the service station with our technicians, our engineers, and the construction team, customers passing by thought we were already open. So we find that we had to even, at one stage, turn off the sign. We had to shut down the lights and turn on the sign because people keep driving in, thinking that we are open. But I'm happy to report now that we are open. We are sales has been growing daily, exceeding our targets, considering that we have just been open, and it's a clear indication that it will be a service station. I mean, to produce revenues for the company and for our shareholders and profits, as expected. Or probably so far seem as if exceed our expectations in the future. Now, for Q3, current quarter that we're in now, we have one service station open. We have two under construction. We have Kingston moving rapidly, more than we expected it, quicker than we expected it to be. So we still have a target for first quarter 2024. But it's we are based on our experiences with the construction of this Paradise service station, and even with Negril and the delays that we had and whatever, we still project 2024 as a reasonable timeline for construction to be completed, considering all of these factors and our experiences. Now, we recently had a launch with Just Gas. It's a Jamaican-owned company. Just Gas is a company that they have been our customer for over a year now, and they have proven themselves. They have proven to be passionate about the business. They have proven themselves by investing heavily into the business, into their business, with their assets necessary for the deliveries and just the infrastructure to be able to be granted a franchise from Regency to supply such an area as the corporate area. So we did our due diligence on the company, and as I said, they have proven themselves. We believe in our Jamaican companies, and we see the passion behind the company, and anywhere we can award an opportunity to our Jamaican companies to grow. So we have a lot of Jamaican companies out there that just need an opportunity, from the leaders in the industry, and the in particular for this industry, the marketing companies. So this is basically a pioneering thing for Regency, because we are the first marketing company to really employ this strategy of expansion. We decided to grant a franchise to a passionate company, a company who have proven itself, and we know, and we have already been seeing the results of this, because that 389% increase is a result of our sales with this company over the past year. Well, it has increased gradually, so it has pushed it up now to the point where, and we're still growing, because there's such a huge market share for us to gain. We have a small share in all the markets when it comes down to LPG, especially bulk and retail, and we have to steadily grow the LPG, as I've stated in previously. That's how we plan to grow our LPG. So we anticipate huge revenue increases from this partnership, or this franchise agreement. So we already seen it, and we hope to continue to see huger profits or huger revenues from this. And until we go to the retail side, we will let you know about that later on. But we encourage other Jamaican companies to become a part of Regency. Now we can move into our question and answers.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Andrew and Jerry, for that overview. I saw one of the comments saying, I believe that's from Andrew in Trinidad, saying he likes how Jerry was breaking it down, and you could see the expansion showing up in the numbers. So definitely good. Kudos to the team. What we'll do is go through some questions now. So the first question is, can you expand on the details of the partnership between RPL and Just Gas and the expectations for revenues?
Okay. All right. The partnership with Just Gas, I must state and emphasize, it's strictly with regards to bulk cooking gas. So it's strictly with regards to supply of cooking gas to restaurants, bakeries, hotels, and any industrial or bulk user of cooking gas. It doesn't involve any form of exclusivity when it comes on to retail cooking gas. That is the 25 pound, the 100 pounds, and the 30 pounds. It doesn't. I would have 30 pounds as yet, the 25 pounds and the 100 pounds. So it's exclusive to Just Gas for the bulk sales. So they have the franchise to supply bulk petroleum in the corporate area, Portmore and St. Catherine, for Regency bulk for Regency bulk supply of cooking gas. So that's it for Just Gas. They are a Jamaican company. They invested a lot into their company. It's a heavy investment, because you have to have, when it comes down to bulk cooking gas, you're talking about a truck. I would break it down for you specifically. A truck goes to the location and offloads it. So you offloads the fuel and dispenses it into a bulk storage tank. Now, this is not a simple thing. This is a tedious operation, and Just Gas has been doing this for us over the past just over a year now, or probably about a year now, and they have proven themselves. We haven't gotten any complaints really, and from the customers, and we also, in the details of the agreements, we ensure that we intervene. They are strictly governed by our policies. We have strict policies in place to govern them, to ensure the customer benefits at all times when it comes down to competitive pricing and it comes down to service. Customer service is what we pride ourselves in. We invest heavily into customer service, especially when it comes down to the service stations. We believe in that. We believe in that. We want to set ourselves apart. We want to put ourselves in the first world standard. So we have to be marketing ourselves globally. So we employ all necessary, all that's necessary to put us in that state. I hope I answered the question.
I believe we did quite comprehensively, and we also did an interview Andrew, I'll remind persons here watching that you can check out that interview on the Learn Grow Invest main channel, where we spoke about the Just Gas partnership and what it entails and so forth. All right. Next question that we have here is, what is being done to improve revenues and net profits? I believe there may be a concern here based on how the Q2 numbers were.
All right, I'm going to remind if you have been following us since the past year or since listing, since Regency has been incorporated, our operations have not changed in terms of our revenue supply, which is from the one service station dispensing 90 and diesel only. So with all of what has been taking place over the past 3 years, our revenue source has not changed any at all to date. Well, that's to date, to the end of the quarter. So you have to bear in mind now that we have the similar revenue source when it comes down to our 90 and our diesel. The only thing that has changed would have been the LPG, which is the bulk, which we did with our launch recently. But all our revenue sources remain the same. Now, we had always stated that we would not see a significant revenue change until either of the gas stations or both of them are opened. So we maintain that to this date. So the point I'm making now is that over the past year or 2 years or 3 years, well, 2 years since we're dispensing to 3 years now, 90, nothing has changed. So what has changed for us? Why you see a dip in the net profits? And even for the revenues, as Jerry stated earlier, the revenues fell due to the fact that one of our bulk customers was shut down for refurbishing. So what you'll find with a bulk customer, they will buy a huge amount of volumes. So one bulk customer closing down would be equal to thousands of cars would buy from the retail per day in terms of volumes and liters or even dollar value. But when it comes out to net profits now, since we have been listed and we have been informed and come to the realization that a number of costs are involved. Now, you're talking about being a listed company. We have to employ, we have to take on certain expenses, first of all, for regulatory purposes. We have monthly installments that need to be paid to different agents or different corporate agencies or institutions just for being listed to monitor our shareholders, etc. Specifically JCSD. And we continue with our donations. We are now being a listed company. More requests are being made of us to donate, and we pride ourselves in that, and we try to balance it out. But apart from even the donations, our administrative cost has increased significantly. Reason for this is that we didn't want to enter. Now we're talking about having a dispensary of 90 and Automotive Diesel alone. We don't want to enter these 2 service stations, which we anticipated would have been opened already a long time ago, as everyone would know. And we didn't want to enter that, opening up, moving from one little dispensary to 2 full service stations without the proper infrastructure in place. And infrastructure meaning administration. So we took on the accounting team, we took on the operations team, we took on HR, we took on a number of different administrators, which we had to employ these persons, preparing them and learning from them also, because we employ the professionals. So preparing, we had to take on customer service training, a number of stuff. We had to take on fire training for the staffing, because we want to ensure that, so we're going the extra mile really, but it's a matter of preparing ourselves or preparing the company, building a foundation. So when we launch out, I can tell you that is probably why we are experiencing exceeded targeted sales already from Paradise, because we have put all the systems in place, all the structure in place. So when we turned on Friday morning on August 4th, I mean, things were running smoothly. We had little teething, we had some stuff, yes, because you knew, but whatever teething process came across, whatever challenges we came across, we were able to challenge it immediately and solve the issues immediately, because we had a team in place. So if anything, we had everything in place in terms of accounting, in terms of security. I mean, everything was in place. So whatever challenges came across, we have it in place, and So these costs, what you'll find now, to answer your question, to improve our net profits and revenues, I'm going to answer your question directly now after stating our order. We have the service stations. Paradise has already opened. We have Negril coming up, so that will increase our revenue significantly. With regards to net profits, as revenues increase significantly, we expect our net profits to increase significantly, especially the fact that we would not expect a lot more increase in our administrative costs. So on the next earnings call now, we can speak about that in terms of how the administrative costs have been increased and with regards to net profits. Yes, it might increase a little bit more, but I don't expect a significant increase in our administrative costs. As I said, it's also a learning process for us. But what I can promise you is that we are very prudent in our decision making, and we will ensure that we look out for the company and for the shareholders when it comes down to increasing revenues and net profits. That's our main objective, along with our social responsibility.
Let me interject here.
Go ahead.
Most of the increase that will be coming to these, going forward in terms of the gas stations, would have been direct costs associated with the staffing, security, etc. Those are direct costs to the operation. So those will be reflected in the financial statement going forward. But the general overhead costs basically will be going down in terms of the increased profit. These costs will, be getting insignificant as we proceed.
Okay, and I take it that there would have been maybe some fees associated with the funds that you received from GK that won't be reflected again going forward as well.
Right.
Okay, well, there will be they're not significant. I think about with the bond cost issue probably about 80%, which of that cost probably would have been reflected in there's an exchange coming on in September. There will be a cost associated with that, but not as significant as we are at here. We're looking 9-10 million, hitting your P&L at 110 one-off cost, So we are not seeing that significant cost for the next tranche. There will be a cost, but not as significant as the first one.
Okay. So it makes me want to ask a question. I know this was not one of them submitted, but so historically, what has been RPL's best quarter for revenues? Because we have 2 quarters left. Which quarter is typically known as your best quarter, just based on how business has been? I know you'll have a variable of 2 new stations that probably will have a different cadence, but is the second half of the year usually better than the first half?
Let me see, based on the nature of the business, Jermaine, what is the accurate tester in terms of increase of revenue is not only the dollar, but I would say, and Jerry can correct me, based on the nature with gas prices fluctuating, it also affects the dollar value at the end of the day. So we can sell, for argument's sake, 5,000 liters and have $100,000 and based on the price per liter for the fuel, and we can sell 5,000 liters and have $130,000, or 4,000 liters and have $130,000. Yes, revenue has increased, but our volumes has actually fallen, has decreased. Okay. So as I said, from day one, I will stated that we will see gradual increases up until the service stations are open. Overall, so we'll see gradual, and we have been seeing gradual increases from inception till present based on our current operation. Nothing has changed in terms of our current operation with regards to revenue source. So I think we are right at the start line now, just opening up the service station last week. So I can assure you that for the next quarter, we will see the results from these, and we're actually seeing it already. I can tell you, I don't want to let out too much, but for the last month, I was saying to Jerry that looking at the last month figures, end of July, we can see some increases already. And the gas station never opened as yet, But just the anticipation, just the customers anticipating, you get them excited and even increase our volumes where we are now.
Awesome. Yeah. Good stuff. I believe there is a question related here to what we're just talking about. I'd like to bring up that one, the one about could RPL make more profits by increasing their margins? So you mentioned pretty much the price of fuel determines how much you make. So you sell 5,000, you could make 100, or you sell 5,000, you could make 130. And I know when we were talking before the IPO came out, you spoke about wanting to ensure that you maintain a low and reasonable price for your customers. Are there considerations to maybe increasing margins so that you can maintain a certain level of revenues?
All right, margins vary based on location. And I know the general public probably can relate to that. You go to Kingston, you pay a different price than when you go to Ocho Rios, or you go to Westmoreland, or you go to Clarendon, or you go to Mandeville or Santa Cruz. So we have to balance that out. So we wouldn't have a set margin across the board. So we would have a margin based on our location. So we have to be competitive in our location, our surroundings. So we try to balance the margin and to also get that volume flow. Because remember now, we can increase our margins and increase our profits on one aspect, but we have many different segments under Regency. So we have our bulk LPG that we're getting profit from. We have margins there. If you look at our financials, I don't want to state it, but look at our financials, you see the margins that we have for our LPG as opposed to our automotive fuel. And we try to compound that now so we can increase our revenue. So yes, if we see where we can increase our prices and still stay competitive, because we always want to be competitive, and we always aim for a win-win situation. We want the customers to be fully satisfied also. We want because it will trickle back around. It's a full circle. So you're saving money from your fuel. It benefits the community, and it still come back to our place, especially we have a convenience store. Now you have more money can spend in the convenience store. So you save on the gas, but you spend it back in the convenience store. We have different margins in the convenience store, different from in the at the dispenser. So
Okay.
so yes, but I take that point. Which is a balancing act, and it varies across the island based on our location.
Okay, understood. So the next question is, how will the funds from GK be used and what's the expected ROI? So you have taken on a certain amount from them. What's the expectation for that growth in the business?
First of all, I must state the funds from GK, the 1.4 million US dollars, it's really just a cap fund. In terms of, it's based on what we use, we would pay interest on, first of all. So it's just a cap, and we did it at this rate based on our experiences again with the previous construction. Inflation hit us hard based on the timeline for delivery of products and all that. So we just wanted a cap figure to say, boy, we didn't want to go into it, and for argument's sake, we didn't have enough funds to complete the service station. So, and it's a new era for us also in terms of the location. So we just had a cap fund of 1.4. We are anticipating that it will cost us a certain percentage less than that. And again, it's directed strictly towards the construction of the service station in Kingston. So if for argument's sake we only use 700,000 to build a gas station, we only borrow 700,000. If we use 800,000, right. So it is geared strictly towards the construction. Whatever the construction cost is for the service station in Kingston, that is what the funds will be used for, nothing else. And that's basically it. So we try to complete it because we know the construction process. We have gained some experience over the last two, in the construction of the last two, So we with that experience, we're hoping to cut back the cost a bit and speed up the timeline from it. So that's two effects of it, and that will.
So I have a question as it relates to that gas station that you mentioned. What makes that location? Well, what are your hopes for that location, right? Because you would have normally worked out of town. You're now working in Kingston. What are your prospects for the area? Can you tell us a little bit about your expectations?
All right, yeah, man, definitely. Before we even entered a discussion or a negotiation for that location, we had to do a traffic flow. We did a traffic flow, which, based on the results, and this is statistics now, based on the results, it was showing a traffic flow of 12,000 motor vehicles per day, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is that we looked at our surroundings in terms of location of the other service stations, and we looked at pricing too, to answer the previous question. So we looked at the pricing in that location. We look at the entire surroundings and the traffic flow, which is very important. Anybody who knows the area will know that, boy, you have a heavy traffic flow, especially at certain times of the day in peak hour. So, and based on Regency's reputation with our pricing strategies and being competitive, and to answer even previous questions with costs and all that, I mean, our supply is just around the corner. So what we mentioned in the previous quarter, where the trucking cost was an issue, and we anticipating now it will be an advantage in this case. So as Jerry and I were speaking a few weeks ago or months ago, we were saying that, boy, based on what we've seen in our research and due diligence on that area, we wouldn't be surprised if it would turn out to be one of probably the number one service station in terms of volumes, based on the traffic flow and location and all that, and our pricing strategy. So we're anticipating big things from that service station. We know the location is quite busy, and yeah, we expect to come. That's what I'm saying previously to that we don't want to put anything else on the table right now. We have these two service stations. We have one open now. We have two more under construction. We want to complete these and have them operating and experience those revenues from these. We have targets, but usually, personally, when I set targets, I always try to be conservative. Jerry can tell you. If he said, boy, we're expecting 10,000 liters, I say, no, put it at 7. Because I don't want to, I'd rather be surprised that way more than be surprised the other way. I'm disappointed.
I do notice that tone even in how you communicate in the quarterlies. You're usually very conservative.
Yeah, man, very conservative. Because I rather you exceed your expectations more than be disappointed. The only thing which we knew at was the gas station. I'll be honest. We expected to open from March, April, but we had our delays, which we could out of our control. That's the only disappointing thing for me, and I know for the shareholders and everybody. But we're on the road now. That's good. We're complete and we're operating, and we have another 2 coming up shortly.
Yeah. So that question came up as well. How do you? I mean, in probably as can you point to any one thing that led to the missing of the deadline from March to now? Because let's say you pushed it back essentially a quarter, right? So
I can point to a number of things. All right, with our objective of being a company appearing to be a first world company, which we achieved that objective, I can tell you, because a lot of questions about where Regency is from, which country. Now, with that in mind and in consideration, when we were procuring our equipment, we didn't think of, we wanted the best of the best. For arguments. So we wanted to go to the first world companies suppliers. So we want to make sure that wherever these first world companies get their equipment from. So we did so. We purchased equipment from Spain. We purchased from Costa Rica. We purchased equipment from wherever the first world equipment, because we are new and we want to ensure that when we open, everything is running smoothly, which is happening now. So we didn't want to. I mean, I wouldn't say sidestep or go a shortcut, but we wanted to just have everything properly done. So in doing so, we had to import most of our equipment, and this is where we had our delays now. When it comes down to, I tell you, when it comes down to the manufacturing, even the tanks, it's a situation where we learn as we go along. Now, when we made our deposit on our tanks, we thought that it was a deposit tank. No. After making the deposit, we were informed that no, this is how this thing works. We weren't even informed of this before. They sent a drawing to us 3 weeks after and said this is a drawing for us to approve, and then construction will start. And we weren't. They said, well, we thought about this because this is the usual, this is the norm for them. So they thought we would have known, but we didn't have any idea about what we thought. We were speaking with them, but we thought that, boy, you deposit, and we had a timeline. They gave us a timeline. Fine, they didn't meet the timeline because based on the war and container shortage, steel shortage, all of this came up. But we were informed as we go along. So we were in communication. So I guess the timing of which when the gas stations commenced and what took place globally, that's what basically caused our delays. Most of the equipment, 90% of the equipment supplied from overseas. We had some global issues, crisis when talking about the war now and the production of raw material and all that. So it affected us significantly in terms of the timeline.
So there's something that you mentioned that I just wanted to maybe, so the lessons learned that you took from that, from the two gas stations, well, now three that you have made somewhat of a projection for the fourth gas station for next year.
Right,
With
right.
everything that you have learned, all the best practices that you can now put in place, are you reasonably certain that you have those things under control for the fourth gas station in terms of that opening, and how long you expect it to take and that entire process?
And I go back to what I said earlier in terms of I gave a target of first quarter next year based on our experiences and what we have in place currently. Now, currently, I'm going to, be specific. We already have our tanks on the ground. So that eliminates immediately a 3-month delay. The tanks are on the property currently. Anybody goes by the site will see the petrol tanks on the ground, the storage tanks. Now, our canopy equipment, we after learning all of this now, we understand that recently there's a company that actually imports some of this equipment for the canopy. We have 70% of the material. So I'm stating this explicitly now so that I can be questioned in the next time. So what you don't have no excuse now. You don't have no excuse now because you stated in the previous earning call that boy, you have this on the ground already. So what yes, and so you should be completed on time. So I put it myself up. But I mean, so basically what we have in terms of equipment, we have those on the ground. So there's no excuses there with the equipment in terms of we have 70% of what we need for the canopy. We have the tanks on the ground. There are fixtures and fittings now that is being imported, so we don't have any control over that. But it's already ordered and on its way. So we don't anticipate any major delays with those. Now, the only thing we have to be the contractors now. So we're not building the place ourselves. So we have to be on the contractors, which we are. We employed a contractor which based on the reputation of construction and timeline, they have been successful with that. So far, they've proven themselves to be successful in terms of meeting timelines. And the timeline they gave us, it's before December. It's by December. So I'm saying so I put myself another 3 months. I saying or 2 months. I said, boy, within the first quarter of next year.
Okay.
So we are moving. I mean, I said what gave us a lot of the delays prior to now. We have majority of that on the ground now. We have some fixtures and fittings are waiting. So yeah, I can still reasonably maintain the first quarter of next year. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you for that context. It's just, I think, important, and I think Elaine kind of alluded to it in the chat that potentially shareholders could be a little disappointed just from that, I guess, disconnect. But what I'll say here, and that what I appreciate about you, Andrew, that you seemingly are always willing to put yourself on the line by stating things as they are, right? You're not withholding the information. You're not trying to say it in a way that it's not. You're painting the accurate picture. Sometimes things happen that you can't control, and when it does, you're facing it because you are now choosing to have this earnings call in a quarter that some companies may choose not to have an earnings call at all. You're here, you're answering shareholders, you're facing the situation as is, and you have a plan to move forward. So definitely
Also,
appreciate that.
Jermaine, what Mr. Williams, excuse Jermaine, sorry about that interruption. But what Mr. Williams explained was just even one of the situation that caused delay. There were so many unexpected, and you have no control over. You're talking about like death of a contractor who is responsible for the whole thing. That set by the whole thing. So there are a lot of stuff that contribute, which you cannot plan for. Unexpected.
Yeah, and handling it very well. So definitely kudos to you. All right. Question here: how does RPL intend to show sizable growth for the remainder of the FY? I feel like we've kind of answered this question before. I think it's okay for us to move on from this one. That's okay. Jerome is asking, an acquisition of a company that offers complementary services was mentioned previously. Was that in reference to your family business? In any case, what's the status of this now, and how will it be funded? Yes, I remember that as well, Jerry. I believe that was Andrew. Sorry, I believe that was in maybe the first earnings call. You mentioned that there is the potential for an acquisition of a business that complements. You never got into what the business was, but you mentioned it. I think
Okay, it wasn't a family business. First of all, it's actually it's still under negotiation. It's still under negotiations, though. I mean, we are awaiting. We made a proposal, and we are awaiting a counter offer or if a continuance. I don't know of the negotiation. But okay. Yes, it was brought to our attention, and we were under negotiations. So we're still under negotiations. I mean, we're still awaiting to hear. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Yeah.
I believe that maybe. Okay. Cool. Are there any other strategic partnerships in the pipeline? I think this would definitely be my question as well, because based on what you've said in previous conversations, Andrew, I get the feeling that maybe these opportunities are coming to you more and more. So I guess out of all of them that you're filtering, are there any worth mentioning that we could potentially see?
All right. In all honesty, currently at this point in time, whatever time it is now, I mean, today, there are none. However, just as the Kingston service station, and even with Just Gas, well, not Just Gas, we were in business before, but no, I mean, things can come across our table. We are open. What I can say, though, is that we are open. We are coming from what you would say the grassroots level when it comes down to petroleum, especially for the cooking gas. Now, we know what it is like to be in this industry. I'm speaking about cooking gas now, and even automotive fuels, though. But specifically to cooking gas. We know what it's like to be in the industry and have a passion for it and want to expand your business, and you're not awarded those opportunities. You're basically at a certain level in the industry, and we want, just like how we were awarded an opportunity to grow, and we had a passion and we had ambition to grow the company to where it is now. I'm sure you have other Jamaican companies out there who would want to do the same, and we are here to award an opportunity to anyone who displays that passion and interest into that level of expansion. So yes, if there's anyone there, I mean, as I said previously, who are in a company who would want, we're willing to enter any form of negotiations for both companies to benefit and essentially the country to benefit, because I mean, we want to see the country grows, the companies grow. You know, so everybody will grow, you know. So I can't say no, we don't have any strategy partnership, no, but probably tomorrow morning we'll have one negotiating on.
Okay. So okay, fair enough. Yeah. All right, cool. And the final question that we have here would be do you expect to surpass FY 2022's numbers?
Most definitely.
Okay, you said that very
quickly. Most definitely.
Yeah. Okay, all right. And I see one here from Jerome again. Have you been actively seeking opportunities to convert existing service stations into RPL stations? And are you open to such opportunities? Thank you for this, Jerome, because I wanted to raise this as well. I drive by gas stations all the time that seem to be in a bad state, that seem maybe they're not really investing the time to bring it up and maintain a certain level of I guess performance. Are those things that RPL looks to? Like, do you maybe try to solicit, even if it's on another brand? Is that something that you consider?
That is done almost every day, Jeremy and Andrew. Almost every day. Let me explain to you. When we just started out, Regency Petroleum from Westmoreland, no one really knew about Regency Petroleum. Not even in Westmoreland, to be honest with you. And so when we, that is one of the reasons why we decided to go list the company. And we knew of this even before. So when we would have approached these service stations I mean, you never heard about Regency Petroleum before. You can't see. I mean, your first response wouldn't be positive. You know, it wouldn't be strictly negative either, but it wouldn't be say yes, we're ready to go. Now that was quite discouraging, but we I mean we were disappointed. We knew that we would face that, you know. So upon listing now, we are more in the public's eye, and that is why we aim to grow our company at the rate at which we are growing it, because we have customers, the general public have developed that certain level of confidence. We have established ourselves in the industry to this point, and we know more than ever. So know more than ever. Yes, we are more than willing to form a franchise agreement, go into an agreement with an existing service station. However, what you must consider now is that all these service stations would have been in an agreement already. So yes, we are open. We are open, considering the fact that most of these service stations you see, Jermaine, that are, I mean, that's probably in a good state. They're probably in an agreement, so they would probably want to move to Regency, no, but not currently. But what we can do now, if you are interested, is we can facilitate the process of you constructing a new one for yourselves, and we are very open to that. You know, there are many forms of agreements that we can enter into in terms of construction of a new service station, and you, the proprietor, being a major share beneficiary of that. You know, we want to see our Jamaican company. We want to see Regency Petroleum service station being a household name and being located all over the island. You know, so you can experience our services.
What would that entail, Andrew? So let's say that Jerome has land.
First of all,
what you need to do to just reach out to you and you guide him through the process and you come up with the agreement. Is that works?
Reach out with the office. You can reach out to me personally, or if you want to reach out to our office, info@rplgas.com, or me, CEO@rplgas.com, and just reach out to me personally, and I can guide you through the process. As I keep stating, when it comes down to service station construction, one of the major hurdles is to satisfy all the requirements. You have to satisfy all the agencies' requirements, the NEPA requirements, the NWA requirements, your municipal corporation requirements, all of those requirements. And it's a process you have to enter into. Yeah, it's a costly process, but as you can see, based on our costings and what we have been doing, but we can assist as best as we can, you know.
Okay. All right, cool. So what I'll do, I'll just put up what you had mentioned. You said info@rplgas.com. I won't put your personal one, but I'll put info@rplgas. Yeah. And for persons, if they want to reach out, of course, you can always reach out to us as well as Learn, Grow, Invest, and we'll connect you.
Right.
So great, thanks for that. I believe those are all our questions. So what I'll do, Andrew, I'll give you the opportunity to do your closing remarks, your final address to shareholders. So over to you.
Okay. All right. Thanks again to Jermaine and the Learn, Grow, and Invest team for awarding us this opportunity where we can share with our shareholders and the audience, the general public, about our company and what we have been doing and what we have been experiencing. We're really happy for that opportunity, or for this opportunity, and we look forward to future earnings calls where we can keep you abreast and up to date as to what the company has been doing. Now, as stated previously, we have our first service, Paradise service station open now, full service station open now. We have our other two under construction. We're hoping to have them open end of this year and first quarter of next year. With these 3 service stations, full service stations, along with our current locations, so we'll have 4 service stations fully operational by next quarter next year. We expect to experience huge increases in revenues, which would lead to increases in profits. No, we won't stop there, but as I said, we need to, whatever we have started, we need to fully complete it and have it operating and have our shareholders experiencing these gains, these profits. And then now, after we have been experiencing the operations of these four service stations in operation, we will move to expand in our LPG sector. I'm very passionate about LPG, especially the retail side. That's where we actually started out, our retail LPG. And there's a lot of room. So Regency, I can tell you, our shareholders, that we have a lot of room for growth. From inception till present, our revenue source has remained the same up until the second quarter. It has changed over the past couple of days in that our service station is now fully open at Paradise. So we will immediately see in the next quarter increases in our revenues and profits from the opening of that service station. So we'll have August and September sales for you to review and for it to be reflected in the next quarterly report. And for moving, as I said earlier, for the fourth quarter, for December quarter, we should have the other service station in Negril open, so we can experience, if it's even like a 1 month of that quarter in the results. So we have a lot of room to grow. We have a lot of market share to gain, especially for the LPG. So after we have these service stations up, 3, 4, we will be looking to expand on our LPG in the coming year, which again will increase our revenues. And as I previously stated, we want to be a household name in Jamaica. Regency Petroleum should be the household name in Jamaica. And then we can move globally with the company, because we are setting a foundation as a first world company. Already we are seeing that. We are seeing that with our infrastructure we have put in place. Our systems, everything that we are putting in place is we are emulating a first world company. And we want our Jamaican companies to grow. We are inviting our Jamaican companies who want an opportunity to expand in the industry. Whatever way we can assist, we are here to assist for both companies to grow and for the entire Jamaica to grow economically and socially. And that's what I'm leaving you with today, and until our next earnings call.